everyone, Shady Guy Folly here, and today I'm going through an updated version guide, so version 2 of the Necromancer build in Remnant from the Ashes, and I'm really excited to be talking to you about this one today, guys, because the previous build that I had, which was a summoner build, was good, but I think this one's even better, and I'm really excited to show you the new pieces of gear that I've got that really just brings this build into just that next tier. And I reckon at minimum you'd have to play this with nightmare mode. Hard and normal are just too easy. This is probably either mid nightmare mode or even apocalyptic mode, depending on how many people you're playing with and what your specs are. But I just want to show you this particular build and just tell me what you think in the comments, whether you think this is something that you'd like to play. So previously I was using the repeater pistol and the beam rifle. The beam rifle's still here, but I've opted for the submachine gun, and also I was using the world breaker before, and now I've switched over to the butcher's flail. Now, before I get into the mods, I just want to say that with all your weapons, again, they are all absolutely your choice. Some people will say you need to use this mod weapon for this particular build. For this particular build, which is the Summoner Necromancer build, you can use whatever weapon you want. So whatever floats your goat, use that. I like using the Butcher's Flail because of the Corrosive Strike, which applies a corroded stack, and each stack reduces the enemy's defense by 5%. Now that doesn't sound like much, but again, if you've got all your mods hitting it at the same time and you're dealing that and stacking up to 5 times, which is 25% reduced defense, you're going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage. So that's what I use. You can get that from the Butcher, and I would recommend that as your melee weapon of choice. Now, submachine gun has a decent rate of fire, decent clip, and I'm using that. And the beam rifle, again, it's just got that stopping power. I absolutely love it. So let's go into the mods. Now, previously, as you know, I was using Beacon, which is the 2 Wastelander skulls. I'm still using Beacon because I don't think you can find a better summon than that. It follows you around. They both follow you around. There's 2 of them, and they deal projectile damage, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, previously as well, I was using a Very Good Boy, which is a dog that follows you around. Very good choice for weapon mod. And then I switched from that to the Seed Caller, so then I would have 2, and I'll go into that again to do with the Soul Anchor necklace that I'm wearing. And I was enjoying the Seed Caller. It was a very good weapon mod that was doing decent damage for both of them, which is more than a good boy. However, I've opted for now the Iron Sentinel. And the reason for that is, again, they only do 31.5 damage per hit, and they last a little bit less time than the Seed Caller and a Very Good Boy. But the reason that I utilizing them is for their ranged ability. Now, the ability to have more projectiles going, a consistent rate of fire, and also space them out around is just absolutely imperative. And look, 31.5 times 5 rounds per second, they're still doing each 157.5 damage each. So again, times 2, you're doing 315, which is pretty good. 315 damage per second. I understand that the Seed Caller does the same, times 2, but that's per hit. So what the issue that I was finding was any of the non-ground enemies that were floating in the air would they would not take any damage from the Seed Caller, and the same goes with a Very Good Boy. And the problem with that is, that you're losing half your damage because they just can't even hit the enemy. So I was finding that was happening too often, and I was sick of chop and changing. On top of that, by the time you summon them and they actually end up running all the way over there, or chasing after it, or if the enemy disappears, I have to go find it again. It was just easier going the Iron Sentinels because of just the consistent damage that they apply. The Beacon I've still kept. Now, the armor that I've previously had, which I'll go through the old stuff, I was using either Twisted Mask or Twisted Hood for that regrowth stack. And then following that, I was also using the Cultist Duster and the Cultist Breeches for the mod duration. Now, I've thrown all them away in lieu of the Labyrinth armor, which I've picked up. And the reason for that is because it has a armor set bonus called Power Surge, which increases the total weapon mod damage, refunds 10% of mod power on use as well. So you do get, for the 3 pieces, you do get 30% of your mod power use returned to you, which is fine. So it reduces that mod regeneration gap. However, the 50% damage you just can't go past. It's if you're looking to really do a lot of damage with these mods, you have to go with this set. It's just phenomenally good. The resistances in each piece are also pretty good too. You do have a bit of stacking, a bit of good resistances on rot, and there's nothing too extreme out there that's going to absolutely crush you in one go. So the Labyrinth pieces were difficult to get, but I would highly recommend taking the time to get it, because your mod damage will just be out of this world. Like before, I'm still using the Soul Anchor necklace, which increases the duration of the summons by 100%. So to accommodate for that lack of cultist armor, which is that mod duration, which we're losing about 60% from my last build, we've still got the 100% duration from the Soul Anchor, and again increases the wearer's ranged and melee damage by 6.25 per summon minion. So making sure you still have those 2 minions from the Iron Sentinel to get that, to proc that extra 6.25% damage. Now, as per before, I'm still running Soul Link, which is summons will steal 10% of the damage dealt and return it to the wearer's health. That's still an absolutely viable ring in this particular updated build, and it's absolutely imperative if you're going to do this. Now, Soul Link at the moment, not Soul Link, Spirit Stone is still on my character, so increases mod generation by 25%. So again, that's so you can regenerate your mod earlier, and weapon mod damage by 10%. So again, we're stacking up to 60% damage on top of what they've already got. When you're playing in a team, there is a different item to use, a different ring to use, and that is Burden of the Devoured. If you are playing co-op, get this, because this is absolutely awesome. All damage dealt by wearer is reduced by 15. Okay, you lose a little bit of damage. However, 50% of self-healing applies to allies. So 50% of the healing that is coming from all your mods, which is that 10%, so 5% of the damage that they're dealing comes back in health to your allies. Absolutely awesome. My friend Schizo and I, who have the same build as myself, he has that on, I have that on. We're basically just giving each other 5% additional lifesteal. So 15% lifesteal each, unstoppable. Now, moving on to the traits just real quickly. Again, still using Vigor, Endurance, and Spirit, which are the main 3 that we were last time. Vigor for the extra health, so you can have more health regen stacking back to you. Endurance, so again, you can dodge and do your melee hits. Spirit for that mod power generation, really important to get your mods back up again. Elder Knowledge, that's just something that I would definitely put in early points into for that extra experience, so you can get as many traits as possible. Running Executioner for the crit chance, plus 25%. Your mods will crit, so it's important to put them into that as well, so then they can crit more often. And then Kingslayer, which is one of the last ones I'm doing, for crit damage, so then they do more damage for those crits. Triage for that healing effectiveness, again, more health that's coming, 100% times the health that's coming to you, absolutely worth it. Invoker, which is your summon damage, perfect item for this particular trait for this build, plus an extra 20% damage on top of the already 50% from your armor and 10% from your ring. So what are we looking at? 50, 60, 80% extra winning. That's absolutely awesome. Concentration is a new trait that I've picked up only recently. Mod duration, again, I know we lost a lot of that mod duration from losing the cultist gear. However, we're making up for a bit of that with this particular trait. And evocation mod damage another plus 15%. So, you know, the 80% now up plus 95%. So they are pumping out the damage based off this build. Put that point into Kingslayer, almost there. From there, I would highly recommend adding points into probably the next one that I will end up doing would be Mind's Eye. So to get that additional range damage, the more damage you're doing will be the more mod regeneration. So just quickly, I'll show you what they look like. So the beacons, as per before, the floating skulls that will follow you around, as you can see. They will follow you everywhere and shoot projectiles. And your turrets there and there. So as you can see, they stay stationary, they do not follow you, and they only proc up when an enemy is nearby. As you can see on the right hand side, I'm not getting any mod regeneration. This particular build, unlike the last one, only gets the mod regeneration. There's no passive mod regeneration. You only get it from doing damage to enemies. Now, when I was doing this on hard, killing an enemy with my beam rifle would completely would give me about a half stack of mod regeneration for the beacons, and 2 of them would return an entire beacon to me. So 4 enemies and you've got your beacons back. Your turrets, on the other hand, are completely different in that respect. They take ages to respawn. However, the reason that I didn't mind losing that passive regeneration and going for this damage build, purely because a lot of the time the enemies don't seem to attack your mods and only really attack you. On top of that, before you go into any boss battle anyway, you will end up using a checkpoint to respawn all your mods. So you don't really have to worry about getting those turrets back. You will get them before every major boss, and they will serve you well in that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go attack a couple of different bosses, probably in Nightmare mode, and just show you how this new build works compared to the other build. But once again, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments, or if you'd like to see anything else done, or you can have any other recommendations, please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Otherwise, enjoy this build. I hope it works out well for you, and if you have any questions, hit me up or send me a message. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Take it easy.